Yes po, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now let us start. Tatawagin ko ang aking mga, ang aking mga alagad. Alagad. Okay, work and electric potential. Okay, so today we're going to discuss about work and electric potential. So introduction. Mr. Mamawag, can you introduce yourself to your class? Baka may hindi pa nakakilala sa iyo.
Ano po yun, sir?
Introduce mo nga ang sarili mo.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon sa inyong lahat. My name is Denmark Mamawag. Currently taking Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. Nagdodorm ako sa St. Peter, Alangilan, Batangas City, Batangas.
Okay. What is
Tapos,
your favorite hobby?
yun lang po.
What is your favorite hobby?
Playing basketball at ML.
Who is your crush?
Yun, patay.
Who is your
Si ano
crush?
po, nasa,
Okay. Sige. Okay, let's begin, guys. Okay. So, thank you. So, let us proceed. Okay, Gauss's law is a powerful and easy way for solving electric field, the psi, and the Q, which is the charge. Okay? So, however, its use is limited only to highly symmetrical charge distribution. Just like what we said, again guys, the Gauss's law is only applicable on finding the charge distribution for highly symmetrical. So therefore, if it is not highly symmetrical, therefore the Gauss's law is not applicable. So if the Gauss's law is not applicable, then we can use the Coulomb's law. So again, the Coulomb's law and Gauss's law are alternative to each other. Okay? So actually, in fact, this is the item that most of you are not aware in long quiz number 2. Okay? In true or false, it is highly symmetrical charge, but it is in Gauss's law. So you just need to put underline in Gauss's law and make it Coulomb's law. Okay? Next, in case where Gauss's law is not applicable, again, just like what we have discussed, Coulomb's law can be used to find the field generated by any charge distribution. That is the biggest difference. Gauss's law can only be applied to highly symmetrical charge distribution, while Coulomb's law can be applied to any charge distribution. But if the problem is too complex for the Coulomb's law, then you will use Gauss's law. Vice versa. So if the problem is very complex in Gauss's law, you will use Coulomb's law. Okay. However, its application is quite laborious and complex since it requires integration of vector quantities. So again, we encountered too much vectors and too much integration in your past lessons because of the Coulomb's law and Gauss's law. But a very useful scalar quantity called electric potential offers a much easier solution in finding electric fields. Since it is scalar, the complexity of the solution has been reduced significantly. Okay, so another way of finding this is what we call the electric potential. When we say electric potential, it is a scalar quantity. You know the scalar quantity doesn't have any direction, so it is much easier solution. Okay, and the complexity of the solution has been reduced significantly. So instead of integration, the electric field can be obtained directly from the electric potential by means of differentiation. But again, guys, in the following problems, we will know we are not using differentiation. Okay, don't worry. Now, work done by an electric field. Now, tawag nga ako, Mr. Robles, what do you want to be pag ikaw ay lumaki? Anong work ang gusto mo? Anong work ang gusto mo? Wala kang work.
Basta po related po sa electrical.
Basta electrical. Tanso, nangongolekta ng tanso sa mga electrical company.
Pwede, sir.
Pwede na, Okay, anyway, so yeah, work done by an electric field. So whenever a charge is placed in an electric field, the charge always experiences a force. For example, you have this electric field. Okay, so electric field is directed toward this direction. And then you have the test charges. Okay, what is your concern po? Again, I'm sharing my screen and I am at my presentation, so I do not have any any knowledge on the reason on who is raising their hands or whoever might have concerns. Sino pong nag-raise ng hand? Wala. Okay, so again, so we are assuming that this is an electric field directed toward this, and you have this test charge. Okay, so this test charge will experiences a force, and this test charge will be at the direction same on the direction of the force, as you can see. Okay, so this is the force. So again, whenever you have electric field, and in that electric field you put a test charge, that test charge will experience a force. And if that happens, if it experiences a force, it will be directed toward the direction also of the force. Okay, so therefore your F is just equal to your QE, where Q is your charge and E is your electric field. F is equal to QE. So the force causes the charge to move. If the charge is displaced by this force, the work is done on the charge. Okay. So again, if the force that will causes this charge to move, then there is a work done. If you will go back to the definition of the work, if the definition of the work is if you applied a force to that certain object and that object moves to its original position, or that object is displaced into its original position, therefore there is a work done okay, so can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, so that is the very definition of the work. Okay, so for example, at this point, okay, then the test charge experiences a force, then the test charge is from this point, it becomes this. Okay, therefore from this point to this point, test charge move, there is a displacement, therefore there is a work also done. Okay, so that is the distance. So mathematically, again, the work done is given in physics. It is force times the displacement cosine theta, where theta is the angle. The work done by the electric field is the charge on the charge, but in this case, if you're going to apply the concept of the work formula in our electric field calculations, you will get QE, which is the force. Again, QE, this is the charge times the electric field intensity dot D, where D is your, again, distance or the displacement. Okay, doing work on the charge changes its energy. The amount of energy transferred is equal to the amount of work done. So for example, the amount of energy transferred, it is also equal to the amount of the work done. The work done. So for a uniform field parallel to the displacement, you have the change in internal energy is equal to QED. So it is just equal to the change in internal energy is equal to the work. It is just like in thermodynamics. If you will go into relate it. Okay. So next. Okay. So the amount of work done by the electric field on the charge is given by the product of the displacement and the component of the force in the direction of the displacement, just like what I tell you. If the force is QE, again, this is the formula for force, and the displacement is DL, differential length, the differential amount of work done is DW, or the differential work, is equal to the force, which is represented again by QE dot DL. So the total work done in moving the charge is, again, your integral of your initial to final QE dot DL. The work is the dot product of force and displacement. It is my very favorite. If I will going to put this in the quiz, it will be in the true or false section. The work is the cross product of the force and displacement. Underline the scalar, underline the cross, and put the dot. Okay? Thus, it is a scalar quantity. The unit of work in SI is the joule, which is J. Okay, again, we all know that the unit of work is joules. So work done in moving a charge by but this time against an electric field. So if ever that you will be having a test charge and that test charge will experience a force nga, then it will be carried away towards the direction of the force or of the electric field. But if you will going to move it against an electric field, then this will be considered. To move the charge against the electric field, an external force that is equal to but opposite the force associated with the field must be applied. Okay? So again, in order for you to move the charge against the electric field, okay, you must need an external force, but that external force must have an equal force, but again, opposite. Okay? For you to be able to for the charge to be able to move against the electric field. Therefore, the force that you needed is just the same, but you just need to negate it. Put a negative sign because it is opposite. Okay? So the total amount of work done in moving point charge against an electric field is given by Mr. Wag na pala, sige. Negative Q integral of A to B E dot dl. Okay? Which is the negative Q. Again, this is the negative charge. So a positive work indicates that the energy of the charge is increased, while negative work means that the charge lost energy into its surrounding. So if you computed the work and the work is positive, so that means that the charge is increased. But if you compute the negative, compute the work and it turns out to be negative, then the work means it means that that charge lost energy into its surroundings. Okay? So the work done in moving a charge against a non-uniform electric field. So again, in our case earlier, it is a uniform electric field. But how about if it is non-uniform? Because it is non-uniform, integration becomes necessary. Just like in shapes, if the area cannot be calculated by the ordinary formula in geometry, then the area must be calculated in terms of integration. Okay, so for example, you have this electric field. So as you can see, it is not straight anymore. It is like a bend electric field. Again, it is non-uniform already because it is not really pointing at the same. Its structure is not the same. So that is why integration becomes necessary. And then you have this test charge, and then you will going to move this, and this test charge will going to move at certain location. Okay. So from point A to point B. Example, from point A again to point B. So this is your differential length. Or the DL, the displacement happens. So therefore, again, it is just the same, negative Q, integration of A to B, E dot dl. The charge is displaced from A to B. The charge is assumed to be at rest in its initial and final position. So guys, this topic is more on concepts rather than computations. Okay? Next. So, important points about the work done. Ito yung mga paborito ko. This is my favorite part. This is where I am. Majority of the items in your long quiz and short quizzes will be coming from if there will be any conceptual problems. Ito yung mga important points. This section. The work done in moving a positive charge against the electric field is equal to the increase in the potential energy of the charge. So if ever that the work done in a positive charge will move against the electric field, that work is equal to the increase in potential energy of the charge. Number 2, the work done depends only on the initial and final. Remember this, it is only depends on the initial and final position, but it is independent of the path traveled. Okay, so therefore, if the work done only cares on the initial and final, not on how the way it traveled. Okay? For example, you have a circular path, yeah? So it doesn't really care if you're going to finish or if the test charge travels in a circular way, in a triangular way, or in a straight path. It will only care to the initial and final position of the charge itself. Okay? So a positive work indicates an increase in the energy of the charge, just like what I said a while ago, while negative work means an increase in the energy of the surroundings, which means that the field does the work. Okay? So the notation WA sub B indicates a work done in transferring a test charge from B to A. So for example, if you are be giving A sub W sub AB, so it means that the test charge will be transferred from B to A, B to A. Okay, not A to B, but rather B to A. Okay. So if the charge is moved around a closed path, the total work done is zero because there is no displacement. Just like what I said. For example, you have a circular path or anything that is closed. Anything that is closed. If you will going to, for example, if you're going to run that closed path, and then you will end up to the same position that where you have started, therefore there will be no displacement. Yes, you have, for example, that one lap causes you 500 meters. Yes, you have gained the distance 500 meters, but in terms of displacement, do you move to your original position? No. So if you will go back from your original position, your displacement will be zero. And if you will going to remember, W is equal to FD, the force times the displacement. So if your displacement is zero, then the work is zero. That is why on your chart, on your closed path, the work done is zero. Can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now we have the electric potential difference. Recall that the work done in moving a point charge in an electric field, if we divide the work done by the charge itself, we will obtain another scalar quantity called the electric potential difference. Okay, so again, if you were going to divide the work done to the charge itself, you will obtain another scalar quantity. And that scalar quantity is called electric potential difference, or the delta V. Okay, electric potential difference may be defined as the work done per unit charge. Okay, so again, the electric potential can be defined as work by unit charge in transferring an electric charge between 2 points in an electric field. So the potential difference has the unit J, joules per coulomb, because again, joules represent the work done, coulomb represents the unit charge. That's why joules per coulomb in SI system, which is equivalent to a volt, which is capital V. For this reason, the potential difference has been known commonly as the voltage, which I am pretty sure you are all aware by now, since you are all electrical engineers. Okay, so again, the potential difference, another term for potential difference is the word voltage, and that is the more popularly known rather than potential difference. But again, they are the same. Okay, so again, the change in voltage or the delta V is equal to work over charge. Again, if we divide the work done by the charge itself, the work done by the charge itself, you will get another scalar quantity, which is the electric potential difference or the potential difference, which in this case, it is popularly known as the voltage. Okay, so which means one voltage is approximately equal to 1 joules per coulomb. Okay, can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next, potential difference between the 2 points. So if the charge is displaced from B to A, the electric field, the electric potential difference between A and B is this. So again, W over Q, it is just the negative of the integration of B to A E dot dl. Sir, why it is A in our upper limit and B is in our lower limit. Because again, guys, we are now talking about voltage. It is not work anymore. In voltage, B A to B. So which means A is your upper limit, B is your lower limit. Okay? So the notation V sub AB means the potential difference at point A with respect to point B. The potential difference V sub AB can be written as VAB is equal to VA, the computation for V sub A, minus V sub B. Okay? So where VA and VB are the electric potentials at points A and B respectively. Okay? The double subscript notation, VAB, is just equal to, again, the difference between VA minus VB. Again, it is not VB minus VA, ha? It is VA minus VB. Indicates that if VAB is positive, then VA must be greater than VB, and thus A is at a higher potential than B. So again, if you computed for the voltage, which is positive, then probably there is a high chance that VA is higher than VB. Because if VA is higher than VB, then therefore your answer will be positive. Okay? So next, the electric potential. In some practical applications, it may also be useful to measure the electric potential at a point rather than potential difference between 2 points. To measure the absolute electric potential, or simply the potential at a given point, we may consider the potential difference V sub AB is equal to VA minus VB, just like what I discussed. To measure the potential at point A, we need to set a reference point B, in which the electric potential is 0, so that VB is equal to 0 and V sub AB is equal to VA. So again, if you are going to find the measurement or the potential at point A, you must need to have a reference point. That reference point is the point B. So if you have the reference point, you must consider it to be 0. Its electric potential must be 0. So that if you have the reference point, which is in this case the VB, which is 0, you can calculate VAB is equal to VA. Again, this will be done if, again, you are going to measure the potential at point A. Okay? So this reference point could be ground or infinity. Okay? We will use the second one, which is the infinity, because the distance from the ground is not defined. Okay? So again, if you are referring to the reference point, which is 0, therefore you will assume that it is in infinity. Okay, ha? If you will get a reference point, then you will set its value or its electric potential to 0, and then you will going to assume it is infinity. Okay? Next. Thus, the electric potential at any point can be thought of as the work done in bringing a test charge from a reference point of 0 potential to that given point divided by the value of the test charge. Okay? So ito yun. So VA is equal to negative of the integration of infinity to R E dot dl, where R is the distance of point A from the source of electric field. Otherwise stated, the electric potential at any given point is the potential difference between that point and the reference point at which the potential is 0. Okay? So again, just like what I told you, if you are going to measure the electric potential at a certain specific point, you need first to have an electric zero, zero reference point, and you are going to assume it's infinity. This point at which the potential is 0 is assumed to be at infinity. Okay, just like what I told you. So equipotential surface, a surface in which the potential remains the same, is known as an equipotential surface. Okay. So again, if the potential if you have a surface and the potential remains the same all throughout, then the surface is what we call the equipotential surface. For a point charge, equipotential surfaces are spheres. Okay. Again, for point charge, equipotential surfaces are spheres. Okay. The electric field is always normal at any point in an equipotential surface. So again, if you are going to take the point in equipotential surface to its in terms of electric field, that is always normal, which is also other term for perpendicular. So therefore, no work is done in moving a unit charge around on an equipotential surface. Just like what we have said, in the original formula of work, it is FD cosine theta. Your theta is the angle. So when we say normal, it is 90 degrees. Now, the cosine of 90, if I will go, remember the cosine of 90 is 0. So that is why there will be no work done in a unit charge around an equipotential surface. Why? Simply because it is always, the electric field in the equipotential surface is always normal. So why it matters if it is normal? It matters because normal is 90 degrees. If you're going to substitute it to the original formula of work, FD cosine theta, cosine 90 is 0. That is why if you multiplied 0 to FD, it will also be 0. So that is why your work is also 0. So there is no work done. Can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So example, a point charge of 450 nanocoulomb is located at 2, negative 3, 5. Find the electric potential at A, negative 402. So again, may solution tayo dito. So let's have this. So for your VA, it is equal to Q over 4 pi epsilon naught R. Again, guys, if you were going to assume this, your 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught is just K. Tama? So again, your Q stands for the charge, which is 450 times 10 raised to negative 9 divided by 4 pi. Again, the epsilon naught is just the constant in your calculator. To compute for the R, you just need to subtract the 2 points given. So negative 4 minus 2 squared. 0 minus negative 3 squared. 2 minus 5 squared, which is equivalent to square root of 54. So the answer is 550.37 volts. Can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes po.
Yan na. So, sir, where did this formula come from? Again, it is just a constant and fixed formula. Okay? So again, if you are but you can just assume this again. Your 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught is just a constant K. Not the Boltzmann's constant. Your K is 9 times 10 raised to 9, if you will remember in our Coulomb's law. Okay? Now, let us have this practice problem. We already answered that, but again, I will explain the solution. 2 point charges, negative 4 microcoulomb and 5 microcoulomb, are located at 2, negative 1, 3, and 0, 4, negative 2, respectively. Find the potential at 1, 0, 1, assuming zero potential at infinity. So you have your reference point, which is 1, 0, 1, and you have the two charges, negative 4 microcoulomb at 2, negative 1, 3, and 5 microcoulomb at 0, 4, negative 2. Okay? So since you have two reference points, you have 2 points and one reference, you will going to find their respective distances first. So again, this is your reference point. So 1 minus 2 squared. 0 minus negative 1, 0 minus negative 1 squared. 1 minus 3 squared. You're going to get square root of 6. Same at this one. 1 minus 0 squared. 0 minus 4 squared. 1 minus negative 2 squared. So you have square root of 26. Now, if again, remember, your K is your 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay? So since you have 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, your K is, you can just, instead of writing this, you can just rewrite 9 times 10 raised to 9. This is also equivalent to this one. Now, for the computation of the potential difference or the voltage, is equal to, again, you're going to use KQ over R. Your K is 9 times 10 raised to 9. Your Q is, again, negative 4 times 10 raised to negative 6. But your R here is a square root of 6. Plus your Q, again, for the second charge is 5 times 10 raised to 6, negative 6, because it is in microcoulomb, over square root of 26. Then you will just going to get negative 5.872 kilovolts. Can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How about you, Mr. Saludo? Can you follow?
Yes po, sir.
Wala ko hindi okay. So let us check if your answer is correct. Yes, negative 5.872 kilovolts. Now, let us have another practice problem. A point charge of 5 nanocoulombs is located at the origin. So it means it is 0, 0, 0. If volts is equal to 2 volts at 0, 6, negative 8, find A, the potential at A, negative 326, B, the potential at B, 157, C, the potential difference between VA, B. Okay? So again, your general formula is KQ over R. Look at my pointer, guys. So your K is 9 times 10 raised to 9. Your Q for your VA is 5 times 10 raised to negative 9. This is already given. Over, again, your square root, again, it is just the square root of your R is square root of negative 3 minus 0, negative 3 squared. 2 minus 0, 2 squared. 6 minus 0, 6 squared. That is why if you're going to solve this, you will get 6.43 volts. But now, sir, is this already the correct answer? Not yet. Because as you can see, you have given this. If V is equal to 2 volts at 0, 6, negative 8, you have given another specific point with the specific magnitude, which is 2 volts. No. So, sir, how are we going to find this? Actually, there's something that you should know. There's always plus C. Sir, when are we going to use the plus C? If you have ever encountered this kind of problem, which is you have given another magnitude with another point. So just like in integration, because if you will notice in integral calculus, you will always add your answer plus C. Plus C is what we call the arbitrary constant, which means that all constants will be represented by C. It is also the case in here. So that is why you are going to add plus C if you have another reference point with another magnitude. So the computation for volts is just equal to K Q over R plus C. Volts is already given, which is 2 volts. Your K is 9 times 10 raised to 9, and your charge is already given, 5 times 10 raised to negative 9, 5 nanocoulombs over. So again, you have the reference point 0 minus 0, 0 squared. 6 minus 0, 6 squared. Negative 8 minus 0, negative 8 squared. Then plus C. Shift solving or solving for the letter C, you will get negative 2.5 volts. Now, you can just apply the negative 2.5 volts right here because this is the formula that you're going to use. So the computed answer, 6.43 volts, will be deducted by 2.5 volts. So that is why, because it is negative, so it is 3.93 volts. Can you follow, guys?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Yes po.
Okay. Sir, how about the voltage at point B, the potential at point B? Same process. K times Q over R squared. Your R is again 1 minus 0, 1 squared. 5 minus 0, 5 squared. 7 minus 0, 7 squared. Minus 2.5. So therefore, you will have 2.69 volts. But sir, then let us see the potential difference at VAB. So which means, again, the computation for VAB, as you can remember in the formula that were presented a while ago, VAB is equal to VA minus VB. So your VA is 3.93 volts. Your VB is 2.69 volts. Therefore, VAB is equal to 1.24 volts. Okay? Can you guys follow po?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. At yan lang ang computation natin, guys, no? So again, this is 3.92393 volts. B is 2.69 volts. C is 1.23 volts. So dito naman, paano naman to, sir? Madali lang din to. Huwag kayong mag-panic. Don't panic. It is easy. An electric field is expressed in rectangular coordinates by E is equal to 6x squared AX plus 6y AY plus 4AZ volts per meter. Find VMN given 2, 6, negative 1, and N, negative 3, negative 3, 2. VM if V is equal to 0 at Q, negative 4, negative 2, negative 35. Vn if V is equal to 2 at P, 1, 2, and 4. At point P. So, sir, do you promise it will be easy? Yes, because this is the solution. Okay, for the first one, for VMN, again, you will just take the 6x squared dx plus 6y dy and 4dz. And then you will just get the, you will split it in terms of x, in terms of y, and in terms of z. Okay, and after that, anong gagawin sunod? You will going to have the limits, the negative. Again, this is the formula for Mn. As you can see, there is a negative sign outside. Ano, if you will go back to the formula. So, how about, sir, paano po ito nakuha? How did we arrive at this? Negative 3 to 2. Yun, negative 3 to 2. Negative 3 to 6. Negative 3 to 6. Because in terms of x, your y and z. So, it means 2 to negative 1 because n to m yan. 2 to negative 1. And then you can just proceed it to your calculator. Okay, this can be computed in your calculator. Okay, again, this negative will be distributed all throughout, ha? That is why it is negative, negative, negative. Okay, next. For V sub M, again, sir, what if the volt is 0? You will have no business in V is equal to 0. You just need to proceed to the next. So again, for the 4 to what? Q, 4 to M, Q to M. So 4 to 2, 4 to 2, negative 2 to 6, negative 2 to 6, negative 35 to negative 1, negative 35 to negative 1. Last but not the least, for C, that is also the case. You disregard the 2 and just proceed it. Enter the equation, 6x squared, 6y, 4, and then from P to N. Okay? So, 1 to 3, negative 3, 2 to negative 3, 2 to negative 3, negative 4 to positive 2, negative 4 to positive 2. Can you guys get it po?
Yes po.
Yes, sir. Yes po.
Yes,
Okay.
po.
Again, this whole equation can be done in your calculator. Ano? But in the solution, I need you to represent this. Okay? And that's all. Ano? That's all for the computation for this electric potential. I excluded the really complicated part. Ano? So, that's all. So, back to the topic. Consider the electric potential due to a point charge which has been derived previously. So again, ito yun last time. For a continuous charge distribution, the electric potential can be found by taking a differential charge element dq. Okay? Where your dV or the differential voltage is equal to d differential charge over 4 pi epsilon naught. So again, to make this in terms of voltage, you just need to integrate it. Because as you know, the integral is the antiderivative. Ano? So it will go back to the normal. So where r is the distance of the differential charge element from the point at which the potential is measured. Okay? So this is electric potential due to a continuous charge distribution. So again, this is the important notes about electric potential. For a zero reference at infinity, the potential arising from a single point charge is the work done in carrying a unit positive charge from infinity to the point at which we desire the potential. And the work is independent of the path chosen between those 2 points. Just like what I said, the work in a zero reference point is not really dependent in the path, rather to the initial and final position only. Okay? Number 2, the potential field in the presence of a number of point charges is the sum of the individual potential fields arising from each charge. So if you are given multiple number of point charges, the potential is just the sum of those individual charges. Okay? Number 3, the potential arising from a number of point charges or any continuous charge distribution may therefore be found by carrying a unit charge from infinity to the point in question along any path we chose. Okay? So another one, so both the potential difference and the electric potential does not depend on the path chosen for the line integral, regardless of the source of E field. That's again, this is just a repetition of what I am saying earlier. The work done in moving a point charge along any closed path in an electrostatic field is 0. Just like what I said. Expressed mathematically, so again, this is E dot dl, it is equal to 0 in a closed path, as you can see. Or, the nabla cross E is equal to 0. Tatandaan ng mga notation na yan, ha? Remember this kind of notation. It may appear in long quiz number 3. No. This expression is true only for static electric fields. Ano? It is true only for the static electric fields. Any field that satisfies the above equation is said to be conservative field. So again, if this is 0, then the field is conservative. Thus, an electrostatic field is conservative field. A conservative field is a field whose line integral around any closed path is always 0. A conservative field is also an irrotational field. So, which means when we say it is a conservative field, it is a field that is not rotating. Okay, that is why it is called irrotational, not rotational, irrotational field. Okay. So, relationship between V and E. So again, this is just more on concepts. Consider the equation of the electric potential. So this is the electric potential equation that I presented you a while ago. Writing this equation in terms of the derivative, so you have this, dV over dl is equal to the negative of electric field intensity cosine theta. Okay? Where when cosine theta becomes -1, the dV over dl becomes maximum. Ang sarap nitong isama sa mga sa true or false or fill in the blanks. When cosine theta becomes blank, dV over dl becomes maximum. In your quizzes. So dV over dl is equal to E. But again, it is not just the topic that you are going to review, but I'm giving you hints already. So relationship between V and E. The electric field is therefore a measure of the rate of change of electric potential with respect to position. Okay? The magnitude of E is given by the maximum value of the rate of change of the electric potential with respect to distance. The maximum value of this rate of change is obtained when the direction of the displacement is opposite to E. Otherwise stated, the direction of E is opposite the direction in which the potential is increasing most rapidly. So again, when we say electric field, it is the measure of the rate of change of electric potential. So rate of change, it is more on indifferentiation process. Okay. So the potential gradient, once again, consider the differential equation. So we have the dE. I know that you love dE. Negative E dot dl. So dV is negative E raised to E sub x dx minus EY dy minus EZ dz. So your EX is equal to negative the partial derivative of V over the partial derivative with respect to x. Thus, electric field is the gradient of electric potential. Okay? The negative sign indicates that the direction of E is opposite to the direction in which V is increasing. So again now, in terms of electric field, in terms of potential gradient of electric potential, the negative sign indicates that direction is opposite. So this negative indicates that it is in opposite direction in which the V is increasing. But then again, I will not consider this in solving, only the concept. If I will going to include this in your long quiz number 3, it is just in concept. Don't worry. So ways of finding E. So far, there are 3 ways on how to determine the E. The Coulomb's law by integration, the Gauss's law using the gradient of electric potential. So the third is relatively very easy and convenient way of solving for E because it involves the operation on a scalar quantity V. Okay? So, nakuha ba yan? Na-record, Mr. Dodge? Goods? Okay. So, yun lang guys. Yun ang ating topic for this afternoon. Yay! Tapos na tayo.